Total Recall was directed by Paul Verhoeven, was released in 1990 and is based upon a short story by Philip K. Dick. We can remember it for you wholesale. Total Recall stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rachael Ticotin, Sharon Stone, Ronny Cox and Michael Ironside. Total Recall tells a story about Douglas Quaid, a construction worker who's been having recurring nightmares about being on Mars. He then becomes embroiled in a conspiracy and then is unable to distinguish whether the events he is experiencing are actually real or as the result of a memory implant. Guys, I'm doing a review of retro films from the year 1990, so if you've tuned into this channel for the first time, hit that subscribe button so you can follow this channel. Hit the alarm bell so you can get notifications from me when my videos are going to be uploaded, and help give this video a like as well. Total Recall is one of the most influential films of 1990. It was a film that everybody was talking about. It was a science fiction film that raised the bar for future science fiction films to follow, and will be an influential piece for many, many films for years to come. Total Recall broke new ground. It was one of the most expensive films at that time, $60–70 million. It raised the bar with regards to computer visual effects, production design, makeup, set pieces. Many directors were influenced by this film, especially James Cameron, because 1 year later he would take the baton that Total Recall gave him and would run with it and set the bar even higher in 1991 classic Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Total Recall is an intelligent film with a good plot. That is thanks to great writing, a great premise by Philip K. Dick, whose work has been adapted into many films, including Blade Runner and Adjustment Bureau, and it is backed up by good performances as well, and great set pieces. The interpretation of the future, this film was filmed in Mexico, so its utilization of buildings only add to the effect of Total Recall. But Total Recall is a very entertaining, fast-paced, frantic, gory, over-the-top, but very, very fun action film. And that is thanks to great directing from Paul Verhoeven, who directed RoboCop. And Paul Verhoeven is renowned for his use of over-the-top, cartoonish, but graphic violence, and his use of sensuality. He's done this in films such as RoboCop, he did it in Basic Instinct, and he did it in Starship Troopers as well. The cast in this film were great. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Quaid, I thought he was brilliant in this role. And again, we get a different performance from Arnie, because this film is different to previous films that he's done. The plot is different and the writing is different, so he had to adapt with it. So we get a guy who is unaware about what's going on. Danger is coming at him from different angles and he has to defend himself, and he's quite vulnerable because he doesn't know who to trust or what's going on here. But he gives a very, very good performance as Quaid. And whilst we get a different Arnie in this film, he doesn't dispense with all of the tropes that we know from Arnie. He still delivers those deadpan one-liners after killing someone in only the way that Arnie can.
Reasonable, after all. We're married.
Consider that a divorce.
And what was interesting was the fact that Arnie had a lot of creative control. Arnie personally hired Paul Verhoeven to direct this film because Arnie wanted to star in RoboCop, but that fell through. And he was so impressed with what he did with RoboCop, he was given creative control over Total Recall. He hired Paul Verhoeven and said, you know what, I want you to do for this film what you did for RoboCop. And it was an excellent choice. Sharon Stone as Laurie. This has to be the sexiest she's ever been in. As the sexy, deadly, but very, very vicious Laurie. She kicks ass in this film. She kicks Arnie's ass in this film. She trained to do kickboxing. She did weight training to get in shape. And she was just excellent in this role. And it was her portrayal of this character. Someone who could be very, very deadly, but very, very sexy at the same time, which is what caused Paul Verhoeven to hire her to work on his erotic thriller, Basic Instinct, which catapulted her into superstardom. Now I say she was always a star when she starred in Police Academy 4, but each to their own. Paul Verhoeven knows how to write strong women. And he knows how to create strong female characters. And Rachael Ticotin as Melina. She was a badass. She could fight, she could shoot guns, she could deliver the one-liners as well. And she was really, really seductive in this film. And again, her portrayal as a strong female character will go on to influence other strong female characters in other films. Paul Verhoeven hired a lot of the people that he worked with on RoboCop to participate in Total Recall. So, visual effects designer and makeup expert, Rob Bottin. Frank J. Uricost as the film editor. William Sandler as the production designer. All worked their magic on this film. But he also had another man that he worked with on RoboCop, Ronny Cox, who played Dick Jones in RoboCop and now will go on to play Cohagen in Total Recall. And his character was just an extension of the character that he played in RoboCop. Very funny, very vicious, very deadly, and he was very, very entertaining as well. And it was, for me, a pleasant surprise to see him in such a character, because I know him as Bogomil from the Beverly Hills Cop films. An excellent character actor who starred in this film, Michael Ironside. Now there's a name for you. Who has done a lot of voiceover work, and he starred in Total Recall as well as Richter, the sadistic henchman of Cohagen who wants to kill Quaid at all costs. Not just because he's a threat to the mission, but the fact that he was banging his wife at the same time. But he was just excellent in this role. And again, set the bar for henchmen to follow. And there are just so many memorable scenes and memorable moments from Total Recall that make this film a nostalgic classic. And the testament to Total Recall is the fact that 30 years on, it still has the same effect on me then when I saw it when I was a kid. It doesn't look dated at all. Some films can do that, but not Total Recall. There are still great set pieces and some jaw-dropping, violent action sequences and death scenes that will just leave you speechless. And that is a testament to Paul Verhoeven's vision and as a director that shows you that he's one of those directors that is just way ahead of the curve and was way ahead of his time. Total Recall was actually rated an X-rated film. So the producers had to trim down at least 10 minutes of film so that it can be given an 18 rating. But it's still exhilarating to watch. The shootout on the escalator, the chase sequences, the death scenes, when they are sucked out and the oxygen causes their heads to inflate, still has the same effect then as it did now. And also, who can forget the brilliant fight sequence between Richter and Quaid?
Yeah, you're coming with me! See you at the party, Richter!
Well, I can say that is easily one way to disarm a person, isn't it? Yeah. No, stick to reviewing. But the legacy of Total Recall is that 30 years on, the characters, the film, the premise, the action sequences have all influenced other films in years to come. The late Roy Brock Smith, who played the Doctor in the film, who told Quaid that he was having a schizoid embolism, gives him the opportunity to snap out from the dream that he's in by giving him a red pill. And we saw that copied 9 years later with The Matrix. And also, to some degree, I will also say that Total Recall influenced Inception with its focus on the subconscious mind, the dream world and the real world. You can tell that Inception drew inspiration from this film as well. And just the characters, the females who are badass in this film, you can tell that they went on to influence the Sarah Connors, the Trinities of this world in terms of just how strong they were and how confident they were. This is easily an influential film. Total Recall was actually meant to have a sequel in which Quaid would become a police officer where he would work with his unit who would predict the crimes that were going to happen and he would stop them before the criminals actually commit the offence. But that film would then go on to become Minority Report, which will be directed by Steven Spielberg. And it is a shame that the industry, being the way that it is, did a remake of this film, which paled in comparison. But 30 years on, so many memorable lines, 2 weeks. Hey man, I've got 5 kids to feed. You think this is the real Quaid? It is. The lady with the 3... Oh, whew. I forgot, this is a family channel. But it is still an entertaining watch. Still a good film. One of Arnie's best, one of Paul Verhoeven's best, and a science fiction classic. And I'll give this film a very, very strong 10 out of 10. So guys, that's my review. Like I said in the beginning, hit that subscribe button so you can follow this channel. There's going to be more reviews coming. Hit the alarm bell so you can get notifications from me when my videos are going to be uploaded. Hit the like button as well so you can help the channel grow. Follow the excellent actress Alicia Martin. Follow my boy Joe Cobra at Joe Cobra YouTubing channel. How do you feel about Total Recall 30 years on? What was your favourite scene from Total Recall? Leave your comment in the comment section. I shall see you all on the next film review. Take care.